There are 4 major kinds of spiritual knowledge you must have in order to enter your inheritance. Number 1 is the knowledge of God's will. Many people who are hoping today for a breakthrough, why? They want to escape from this country to the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, their destiny is in Africa. But they've not discerned God's will. And so they assume if they get to the UK, life will be better. The question is, if you are a lizard in Nigeria, what makes you feel you become a crocodile in London? Meanwhile, in Nigeria, you have advantages like being a citizen. Your citizenship is a very important advantage that you have here. You are going to a place where you have to carry your ID cards up and down everywhere. Before you even get the right to do a professional job, it may take you 5 years. Meanwhile, in God's calendar for your life, that 5 years you wasted was the season of your equipping. Because God planned from the scrolls of eternity that when you are between 19 and 24, they will equip you so that you start fulfilling destiny at 25. Meanwhile, you were in London trying to get work permit. And you used 5 years to get work permit. When you now got work permit as a mortuary attendant, you don't know what people do abroad. You now eventually got that permit. You are now in the mortuary with the dead people for the next 15 years. Meanwhile, that is the period where you should have been building legacies. But you couldn't see God's will for your life. And so you allowed anxiety into your soul. And anxiety made you feel that if you go to a place of greener pasture, your life will be better. If you go to a place of greener pasture, it doesn't mean the pasture is available. That was the error of Lot. Instead of seeing from Zion, he decided to look at the plains of Sodom and Gomorrah. Meanwhile, Sodom and Gomorrah was already destined to be destroyed. So he walked into destruction because of his appetite. And so when a man cannot discern God's will for his life, his appetite becomes his God. And Paul speaking, he said the people that their God is their belly. He said their end is their destruction. He said their glory is their shame. And so what will exonerate you from the shame and the destruction that appetite brings to you is your ability to discern God's will. You must find that line that runs through Zion into your time space and align with that line until you walk into eternity. Because life is a trajectory from eternity past into eternity future. And a man becomes a living creature when he aligns to God's will. Because at the end of the day, the greatest summary of your life is not the car you have. It is the degree to which you fulfill God's will. He said David, when he died, he said when he accomplished his purpose, when he finished the will of God for his life, he rested with his fathers. They didn't say David was a king. They didn't say David was the psalmist. They say when David accomplished God's will, he rested. That means everything David was doing was summarized into one thing, the will of God. Your life can be summarized in one word, the will of God. It's either the will of God or it's not the will of God. Hope you know when you study David's life, there were plethoras of possibility. David operated in 7 anointings. David was a king. David was a prophet. David was a warrior. David was a psalmist. David was a poet. David was, what's the 7th one? David was a shepherd. One man operating in 7 anointing, but they didn't pick anyone when he finished. They called all of that the will of God. Because if it is not in the will of God, it was a waste. It won't be captured in existence. Existence is defined by to the degree that you align to the will of God. So before you start talking about vision, you must first of all find God's will for your life. If not, when you want to marry, you marry a man with a big chest. Meanwhile, a big chest is not part of the scroll. What they were reading in the scroll is a man that will help you fulfill your music career. You want to marry, you are looking for a woman that the body is glowing like Bob. Meanwhile, Bob and fairness is not part of what the patriarchs wrote. The immortals were not looking at complexion. They were looking at you that a day will come, they will send you to Congo. And you will need a woman that has a large heart to be able to endure the pressure and carry the weight of destiny. But we went and married a woman that was only interested in fingernails. And so when you go to Congo, she will hold the fingernails like this and you will run home. All of you will die.